Good afternoon, everybody. I'm happy once again to announce to the people of Bermuda, yes, we have bananas. It is our hope and belief that we now, as an island, will have access to a steady, consistent supply of bananas. Earlier this week, the Department of Environment and Natural Resources personnel began examining the shipment of bananas which arrived on the dock here in Bermuda Sunday, August 9th, and have examined about 80% of the shipment thus far. Inspections are expected to be completed by tomorrow, Saturday, the 15th of August. So far, the bananas checked have been clean and pest-free. And some of those bananas are already in our grocery stores, and I'm sure many people have already gotten their first bunch or maybe even second bunch of bananas by now. And this I witnessed certainly on Tuesday when I attended the marketplace, and with great enthusiasm shown by the public who were there, who purchased their first set of bananas that they haven't seen in a long time. Even in these early days, stores have frankly struggled, and this is a good struggle, to keep those bananas on the shelves. Bermudians have, with great joy, welcomed back their favorite fruit to the island. This has been a very, very long process, but I and the team at the Department of Environment and Natural Resources remain committed to ensuring that Bermuda has access to clean, healthy, pest-free bananas. As I reported in a ministerial statement that I made in the House of Assembly in February, this journey with bananas began in late 2018 due to a continued presence and contamination of pests being found in imported banana shipments at the time. Many bunches of imported bananas were found to be infested with two pests. This is scale and mealybug. Inspection of local distributors and grocery stores at the time revealed infestations with these pests to be widespread throughout all of the imported bananas at the time. The number of live mealybug and mealybug eggs was alarmingly high and posed what was believed to be a serious risk to Bermuda's banana industry, local crops, and ornamental plants. The scale and eggs were detected on all parts of the imported banana fruit. And independent testing at the time verified that this was a mealybug species that was not present in Bermuda, which was more of a reason why it was very alarming. Plant biosecurity is of paramount importance to any country to safeguard food security, sustainability of agriculture and horticultural production, and also to protect the livelihood of our own Bermudian farmers and landscapers. It is the work of the team at the Department of Plant Protection, which is within the Department of the Environment Department under my ministry, and that is the Plant Protection Lab, to ensure that Bermuda remains free of any devastating pests that may cause serious damage and which has already caused serious damage in many parts of the region already. Exposing these pests to our local environment could lead to their establishment within Bermuda on locally grown bananas, other fruit trees, and other crops, resulting in a reduction in yield and crop quality. We must prevent the entry, establishment, and spread of invasive pests in Bermuda. And Bermuda has had, unfortunately, a long history of these cases happening. In recent years, we had a major attack on our citrus, which literally 10 or 15 years ago, I believe, actually literally eliminated many of the orchards that are on the island. And people have been, over the years, attempted and are only just now beginning to have recovery of those fruits. And that happened because of an invasive pest. There is a process that local importers must follow, which requires their product to be pre-inspected in the country of origin prior to export to Bermuda. Upon arrival in Bermuda, each shipment is inspected by our own trained department staff under the Plant Protection Department division. This process is meticulous and rigid, but it is in place to ensure healthy, uninfested produce and agricultural products are brought into Bermuda. The actions taken to attack this problem with more intensive screening was costly to both the government and importers. This resulted in the choice of importers to suspend banana shipments to Bermuda in early February of this year. But we remained confident at the time that ultimately we would work out a solution with the importers to ensure that shipments could eventually resume. The shipment we have received in recent days is actually an example of that determination to work with parties to gain a solution to that problem which has unfortunately been with us all year and from late last year. I wish to commend this particular importer and farmer, local farmer, Mr. Roland Jr. Hill of J&J Produce, who's here with us today, who did what was required to bring successful banana shipment to Bermuda. And I'm sure he'll be happy to tell you more about that when he has the opportunity. While bigger suppliers gave up and decided earlier this year to suspend shipments, this Bermudian farmer, Mr. Hill, did what was necessary to succeed. And that is no small feat. And he and the people, whoever he works with and who he was able to get this process completed with, should be congratulated. I would now invite the acting director, Ms. Terry-Lynn Thompson, of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, and after her, Mr. Hill, to share a few words.
Thank you, Minister. As the Minister said, this has been a very long journey, and there are some things that we've learned, like how much the Bermudian public appreciates and loves bananas. And I also hope that they can appreciate the process that has taken place to bring them clean bananas and at the same time keep our island free of the pests that we clearly don't want in Bermuda. This is also an opportunity for me to express how fortunate we are as Bermudian citizens to have a minister and a government who are, well, my minister, I can speak, directly to the fact that he is keen, he is so interested, and he supports our actions because he understands the bigger picture. And we hope to continue to work with importers like Mr. Hill, I guess, and any other importer who is able to import bananas successfully, clean bananas successfully, because, like I said, Bermudians really love bananas. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks. Yes, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, I took up the mantle and kind of looked at it as an opportunity to see what I can do to help, being I'm a farmer and know a little bit about pests and bugs and stuff like that. So I went and got the requirements from the lab and talked to some people that I know in Costa Rica and different places like that, and ended up going back to Costa Rica to work with a team down there, and that's how we came up with a solution. It wasn't easy. We started this probably last November, and it was tough. It is tough. It's not going to be easy, and we don't have the magic wand. Believe me, we don't have the magic wand. But we're on the case, and we're going to get it done, and we're going to get it done right. Got a great bunch of people from the technical police people in Costa Rica and their labs and stuff like that, and we're working hard, and we're going to be there. And another shipment is on its way. Hopefully we'll get one very shortly. Thank you, and hopefully Bermudans love their bananas. Thanks.
Any questions?
Before we take any questions, I'd just like to also share some additional comments. Perhaps it's not known by many in the public the very important role that's played by particularly the Plant Protection Lab and others, and our local farmers, and all those who participate in the industry of agriculture, not only on the regulatory side, but also on the production side, and even on the retail side, on how important it is that everyone is committed, and my belief that everyone in the island who's in this industry is committed to providing clean, safe products here in Bermuda for us all to enjoy. But it's particularly crucial the role that the Plant Protection Lab plays. And I don't know if the public really understands not only their role fully, but actually the acclaim that they have received internationally and regionally for the system that we have in place. I know over the years there's been often much criticism, and often you hear uninformed commentary in other mediums about people not being able to bring certain stuff in, or the delay. We often have the great Christmas tree saga every time in November and October that the plant protection team's got to survey many Christmas tree shipments and containers from different parts of the region, and some people are happy and some people aren't happy, or other products or other agricultural products. But it's very crucial that people understand is that our system works, and it's acclaimed regionally. I can tell you, Mr. Hill informed me of a story, and I've heard also other stories from Miss Terrelyn Thompson, the acting director, and her team about why our system is so highly regarded. And he informed me of a case in relation to another island in the region that we're quite familiar with. I won't name the island, only because I don't want to seem to be bashing any of our friends to the south. But a team from that island were brought here some years ago, allegedly, to inform Bermuda and Bermudians who work in this area of what other methods we could use to perhaps have a more efficient plant protection process. But what was learned from that visit is actually what Bermuda is doing is admired, and even that island eventually admitted that if they had been doing what Bermuda is doing, and if they could turn back the clock, they would do what Bermuda is doing. And that system remains in place. I know from my own contacts in the region that we deal with all types of agencies, and our team is invited often in the region to talk to other islands about plant protection all through the Caribbean. And even we have great relationships with the U.S. agricultural government agency as well, and we work with them closely on different things. So yes, our system is tough, but actually it protects everyone. And I would hope that having gone through the COVID period, that we now understand the need for clean, safe, healthy food. And yes, food security is of paramount importance to this government, and we have repeatedly said that. I am committed to it. But food security has two different levels. It has obviously the commitment to people like Mr. Hill and others and our local farmers to helping them produce as much locally as we can. But the reality is that Bermuda cannot produce everything. And I think we all know that. So for what we have to import, and in a sustainable, in a careful, in a safe way, we need to have a system that ensures that. And through the pandemic, you've seen pictures on the news of store shelves being empty, stores being empty of essential healthy produce. We didn't have that here. So, and there was a reason, because of our supply chains, because of our distributors, because of our grocery stores all working together. And our local farmers, because we made sure our farmers could stay out there and continue to farm during actually what is the most productive time of the year, the springtime, so that they could get produce to you safe, sustainably, and healthy. And despite the many challenges that exist in local farming, just to stay in business, people like Mr. Hill and others are committed to it. We want more people doing it. We are also pleased that many Bermudians have taken to their own home gardens. That's just another wonderful part of the picture of producing safe, healthy, and local produce. So the more we produce on island, the less we have to produce. But we do have to import. So the fact that we have access and will continue in the future with all the work of Mr. Hill and others to ensure we have healthy banana shipments, that's wonderful. And we should give Mr. Hill and other entrepreneurs and farmers credit for what they do to keep us all healthy and fed and happy. So those are my concluding comments there, and I'm happy to take questions.
Yeah, hi, Mr. Duncan Hall from the Royal Gazette. Duncan Hall from the Royal Gazette. You spoke in the House in May about a study that's going to be carried out on opportunities for underproduced but locally desired produce. And I'm wondering how that study is coming along and when you expect to announce any results.
Oh, you're referring to me, Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Okay, because I thought you were asking Mr. Hill. That's
no,
all right.
I said in the House. So
Okay, yes, I thought you said that.
Okay.
Currently there's an agricultural sector review going on, and that study is currently going on, and we expect for it to be finished very soon. It's an overall review of the whole agricultural sector, but there's also work being done by the planning department to survey and assess and identify all the areas that are zoned agricultural zone land, but we would need to work with other departments to determine whether, even though the land's zoned agriculturally, that actually is fit for agriculture. So we were doing a little bit more drill down than just the traditional looking over a visual assessment and deciding, well, that's agricultural zone. We're on the ground, we're assessing the soil content and other elements. And there was a previous agricultural sector study done which concludes in its term next year. So this is an update of that study essentially, and we're going to look at what opportunities we can expand in agricultural zoned land. Right now there's about 700 or so acres of agriculturally zoned land in Bermuda. Of that 700 acres, half of it is being farmed. So we can clearly do more. But the question is how we do the more and where we do the more. And it has to be perhaps more structured and formalized in what types of agriculture we use that land for. So it is a more sort of meticulous study being done, and once that information is available, we will certainly make it public, because we believe that there are more opportunities for additional new farmers to come into the market. And I would like to see us bring in perhaps 10% more acreage of what's already farmed into production over the next couple years. But that's going to take time. That's going to take the proper preparation. It's going to take the proper training. It's going to take the proper investment from all of us to make, whether it be the government, whether it be private sector individuals, and those who will train them to ensure that those efforts can be successful.
Thank you. You also mentioned that the Ministry of Home Affairs is working on a number of initiatives to increase our local food security. Is that the same program we're talking about there?
Yes, that's
okay.
Similar. But over the pandemic period, we did some work working with the local farmers association and with the agricultural board and with national security to do some things that we felt, in case Bermuda got to a point where accessibility to supply by ship became compromised, what we would do. So there were preliminary plans done as to everything from accessing the proper seed, and we would work with farmers to access suitable seed varieties that would be efficiently grown in Bermuda, to identifying suitable acreage that could be perhaps brought into production to farm specific staple crops that, if we were compromised, we could bring additional land to production quickly to provide food if necessary. So The food security piece remains a commitment, even though we happily, I should say, did not find ourselves in that compromised position. It's not likely we will, because our like shippers have a very well organized process for like distribution and like accessing product, and they were even prepared to go as far as sending ships to Europe if needed, if the ports on the east coast of North America became compromised, that we would have other ways of getting produce here if necessary. So we're not there, and we didn't get there, and I give credit to our farmers and our distributors and the local grocery stores for not allowing Bermuda to get to that point. So we're not there, but we're still making food security a top priority in all the areas that I've already described.
Okay. Mr. Hill, what prompted you to look into this in the way you did, and why did you do it, and how did you do it?
A lot of questions. I guess I did it because the monetary, first of all, but then I looked at it as a way to help Bermuda get some bananas on the shelves and into the island and stuff. And like I said, I have good friends down in the University of Costa Rica and places like that. So
Where is that?
University of Costa Rica.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I just reached out and I got interested. I really did. I truly got interested in it because I don't know if they've said, I don't know if the minister said it or not, but it is a new bug that's being introduced here. And I've been farming for 40 years and I've seen probably 3 or 4 bugs come in that have done some damage around here. Thank God we got a way around it and we got them under control and different things like that over the 40 years. But yeah, it's the bug thing that got me, you know. I was interested, very much so. I'd like to just piggyback on the minister here real quick. He was talking about agriculture and stuff like that and producing more stuff. And you know, greenhouse farming is the way to go. Hydroponics is the way to grow indoor. And the minister's working on this, and it's going to happen. You know, you're going to see more greenhouses popping up around here and taking off and stuff like that. And then more hydroponic lettuces and things like that that can be done. It's a lot that we can do. We're only just scratching the surface of growing vegetables in Bermuda, and fruits and trees and everything. I mean, we're in the right position to do the right stuff, you know. It's going to be good.
I suppose, you know, knowing who to go to and how to do it is one thing. But part of it, too, as an entrepreneur, you took a bit of a gamble, right?
Oh, yeah. Cup match, every stall in cup match couldn't do what we had to do here. It was a risk. It's a high risk. And that's, I think, why the wholesalers, the bigger wholesalers, stopped doing it, because it's a big chance. You know, you're putting a lot of money on the line, and you're not down there. It was COVID, you know, so I couldn't get down there to do the work and help out myself, and I had to rely on the team that we have in Costa Rica, and it paid off. It did, and it worked real well. It was an awesome team, and working with the lab, you know, you have to have the proper documents and proper stuff to go by, and like I said, it went well. I think we should all be happy for Bermuda. I think we made a lot of people happy here this week. Is that it?
What made you confident that you know, as you say, you've taken a bit of a gamble? What made you confident that the bananas you were bringing in would pass the inspection?
Again, the sample shipments we had, first of all, that's right, thank you, Ms. Thompson. The sample shipments, forgot about that. The sample shipment.
Your first sample shipment.
Your first sample
Some
shipment.
weeks ago.
That was probably, again, it's Friday. Probably 2-3 months ago, we got some shipment in and stuff, and
Just a small shipment?
a small shipment, very small shipment. And the guys that I work with down in Costa Rica are awesome. They are knowledgeable. They go to school for this. That's their business. They're in the bug business, you know. So we worked hard and worked with them, and we got this first shipment in, and hope to see some more arrive shortly.
This shipment that came in on Sunday, is it measured in pounds? Could you tell us, or containers, or how do you measure it?
It's a 40-foot container, and it was 1,060 cases of bananas, and each box is 40 pounds in a box. Not good at math. So
Yeah,
a
I've
lot
got a
of
calculator on my computer at home.
Yes,
so
sir. Yes,
so
sir.
it's 1,060 boxes at 40 pounds a box.
a 40-foot container with 1,060 boxes of bananas in them, and 40 pounds of bananas in each box.
1,006
60
boxes, 40 pounds in a
1,060.
box.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and your second shipment will be the same?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. And we're working on that as we speak in Costa Rica right now. Doing a good job, hopefully, to clean them. The minister said something about some of the islands to our south. I'd like to elaborate a little bit on what we talked about earlier. I don't think the people in Bermuda realize how important it is to bring high, clean, good quality stuff into the island. When I say clean stuff, I mean plant material as well. When we haven't even touched the nursery people and stuff like that who bring in small plants and different things. It's a challenge. It's hard. And these problems are worldwide, and it's not going to get any better. It's only going to get worse. So we have to keep Bermuda clean. If we didn't, we wouldn't have any flora or fauna in Bermuda. That's the bigger picture here. At the end of the day, it's keeping Bermuda clean. The place that we're talking about in the south of us, they have major problems, and most of the Caribbean islands have major problems with the mealybug and scale, and Terry could probably name some of the names of the bugs that I don't remember, but it's huge problems. They don't even have hibiscus hedges that don't even grow anymore because of the mealybug problem and the pests that they allowed into the country. And Bermuda's done a good job, and we need to continue to do a good job moving forward. We just can't let our guard down. It's not the way to go. And it's not going to be easy, but it's something that we have to work on. And I have to thank the lab and the government to put these practices in place a long time ago and continue to make it work, And that's the bottom line is we have to keep clean product coming.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
A couple other comments, even as Mr. Hill highlights a number of things. And I'm glad he brought them up. It's not just traditional farming that we're committed to. We're also committed to some of the newer systems of farming, like you mentioned, aquaculture, agriculture, mariculture, which is more aquaculture, and mariculture has to do with the ocean. And there is vertical farming and hydroponics. There are, to some degree, small operations of that already in Bermuda, but as Mr. Hill said, we're just scratching the surface for the potential for these actual operations to be here in Bermuda, and actually run by Bermudians. These are entrepreneurial business opportunities that Bermudians can take on, whether on their own or in partnership with others, that can help expand agriculture in this country. This government remains committed to expanding the food security and opportunities in the agricultural sector as a part of our overall advancing of agriculture, but also to bring down cost. And we have committed in our platform and throne speeches to bringing down the cost of food and the cost of living. This is all a part of that process. And how what Mr. Hill has done, which is actually in line with that, is that because he as an entrepreneur have taken up the challenge to bring in shipments, he's relieved the other big importers, and I'm happy to name them. I don't think I'll be shaming them really, because this is a fact. It was the Marketplace and Butterfield and Vallis and BJ Limited and other big that were bringing in these shipments. But they were committed to a more traditional orthodox method of accessing a distributor in North America to actually get supplies of bananas. And this was a part of the challenge that we had, is that they were relying on someone else to verify a clean shipment for them. When a shipment got here, it wasn't clean. And we have to deploy our own rules around that. So that's what made the process so challenging since November of 2018. And perhaps an unwillingness to change that system. Mr. Hill has allowed for a change to that system. He's taken up the challenge and brought change to that process. So he's relieving the marketplaces and the BGAs and the body fuel vouchers of the risk, which actually should help to stabilize price, because they're no longer paying the cost of trying to access a shipment to like Bermuda, because Mr. Hill has taken up the risk of production, sourcing production, distribution, and shipment. So he's taken up that risk. So all they have to worry about is on-island distribution and sale. No longer are they taking the risk of possibly bringing in a clean shipment. That's now Mr. Hill's risk, or some other person who may take up the risk in the same way. But like Mr. Hill having, and I don't think I'm giving any commercial secrets of it, he's told you what he's done. He's gone right to the source to make sure his bananas were clean. He hasn't relied on someone else to do it for him. And thus that has ensured a clean process from farm production to sale at the shelves. And so this, right, and it's our hope that this will stabilize the cost. I think the bananas at one store was around $2.80 per pound. They are traditionally around $2.40 or so. With some of that risk, and if the shipments can be consistent and clean, that price should come down. Mm-hmm. It should come down, or at least stabilize. And there shouldn't be huge increases of banana costs in the stores for people. But of course, we all welcome the efforts of Mr. Hill and other farmers to provide local bananas when they can. So it's our hope that those local bananas that would have been trees that would have been denied by Humberto, which caused the reason for the local supply of grown bananas to be reduced severely. Hopefully we won't have any hurricanes that hit us this season. And then over the next couple months, I believe, you should see more local bananas in the marketplace or available at the distribution areas, whether it be at the farmer's market or people like Mr. Hill selling them by the roadside. So it is our hope that this process it's all connected. Credit to, again, the plant protection team for what they do to keep our food supply safe. Credit to people like Mr. Hill who is growing safe, or somewhat, I would say, certainly if not organic, but natural food, which is grown within a mile or two of your dinner table, and others. This is the way that food should be received by residents. We deserve the best, and I believe that we're getting the best protection, we're getting the best production, and we're getting the best care when it comes to our food, our food production. But we do have some other challenges around cost and perhaps availability, because we are an island. We have to import most of this stuff. But in reality, we need to continue to persevere.